Welcome to Behind the Clock. We will be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have discovered that there is an individual uh, specifically named Alexander Vinkov. They are on Usella, and they are Magnus Sundstrom is attempting to make some big deal sales for moderately priced electronics and machinery that he believes he could set up a good deal to sell from the Sword Worlds to Usella. And it should be noted that Usella is not an imperial world. It is not within the borders of, I believe, Five Sisters, which is Rimward. It is, I suppose you could consider it an imperial protectorate, meaning that the Empire wants them to join, or is trying to kind of coaxing them in that direction. But Usella has either certain problems that are standing in the way of that, or what have you. And Alexander Vinkov is, and they have discovered, is evidently the imperial representative on Usella. They have also discovered some other pieces of interesting information. The first being that Vinkov is a expatriate of the Sword Worlds, and is generally is believed, or the information that they got was that he left the Sword Worlds under less than noble reasons. He was wanted for malfeasance and fraud and a number of other, you know, white-collar crimes. And rather than face justice, he bailed, and he has gone to Usella. The other piece of information that they have worked out is that in addition to him not only running from his past, but evidently he has joined, he's got ties to Imperial intelligence. And so now, not only is he an expatriate who's going to be a thorn in their side, but he is also possibly selling state secrets to Imperial spies. And so he has become a problem. And he took a couple of shots at Svart and Casey through the door because they were they were stalking him, and evidently neither of them knew the golden rules of stalking is to not be seen. But he took a couple of pot shots at them. The police were called. They narrowly escaped the large high-rise that he lives in at the top in the penthouse, of course. Quite cushy. And they have now made it back to an Advantage Hotel where Zursi is staying. Holger, Faye, and Casey have left and gone back to the ship to rejoin the crew. Those players are evidently no longer a part of the game for private reasons, and so we will be moving forward without them. So be prepared. We will probably see some new people join, hopefully sooner rather than later. But if not, we will carry on the way we are until we do. Before we get started, we would like to mention that we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got t-shirts and hoodies and buttons. We've got poster maps, and we've got drinkware, all sorts of stuff. And 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into our channel. It helps us cover costs of things like Roll20 Pro, Wondershare Filmora that we use to make these videos, as well as Incarnate Pro that is used for some of the maps that we make. So if you're enjoying the show and you like following along with what we're doing and you want to help us out, go over and get yourself a t-shirt or even a Whiskey Rocks glass, and we appreciate everything you do for us. All right, so Zart, you get back to the Advantage Hotel, and there's a call that comes in that calls Casey, Faye, and Holger back to the ship, and you two are left to figure out how to deal with this. So part of Vinkov's initial plan was to use, he claims that there is a law on the books that that prevents Usella from immediately selling to the scander, or rather, either selling to the scander or making a purchase. This law basically states that the Usella government has to give priority to the to imperial sellers and buyers, and if there's any kind of offer that's made, um, that Usella must send a courier to the Five Sisters in order to allow imperial companies to make a challenge to that. And I mean, you're talking. I mean, what did we figure it out? It was something like 6 to 8 weeks that you would have to be waiting for word to come back. And so, Magnus Sundstrom was only planning on being here for like 36 hours. And so this could be a major derailment of that. Both of you can make an electronics computers plus intellect check.
So is this after? Because I was already sleeping while Svart
Yes.
was out doing crazy shit. I assume I'm all rested and everything.
Yes, you are rested up.
All right. Was it electronics computer?
Yes. Then it doesn't matter if you don't have it. Just go ahead and make it anyways. We'll see what shakes out.
Barely got it. Nope.
That's all you need. Nope, that's all you needed. It was a 6.
And intellect or education or what?
Your choice.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
It's a very interesting thing with the two
So-
people who are horrible at skills.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't make it. I mean, you didn't get the juicy pieces of information, but that doesn't mean you came away with nothing. So Svart, you guys are kind of sitting in your Advantage hotel room, kind of figuring out next paths, and you kind of go over the small kiosk computer that's available here in the room. And Svart, you find a number of back news articles, basically related to Alexander Vinkov. And it appears that if you go back far enough through news archives, you find that he just suddenly kind of appeared on the scene here on Usella probably about a year ago. And it seems like his rise to power was rather sudden. Like, we're talking like weeks after he got here, he was already either maneuvering or being put into positions of power. And it seemed to start low on the totem pole. Basically he started as the head of the guild of the Merchant Consortium, and moved up rather quickly from there. Almost every 3 to 4 months, he was moving up in political power, leaving the guild, the Merchant Consortium, moving up into like city politics, and then finally into planetary politics, where he is today. In addition to that, Zursi, you find that essentially this well, you guys already knew that this isn't really a law. This is not actually a law that's on the books. And so the piece of information that you find is that any challenge that would be made here on Usella has to be brought to the Merchant Consortium. It can't just be somebody can't just walk into the port administrator's office and say, "You're not allowed to sell to him." That's not good enough. It has to be brought to the Merchant Consortium, and the board of directors at the consortium has to talk about it or be convinced one way or the other in order to stop a sale or a purchase. And so that so far has not taken place.
Well, if memory serves, I did talk a couple times to a member of the crew who was also an Imperial spy or scout or intelligence or something.
You did. You found... boy, what was his name?
I don't remember his name, but he's kind of like an Aragorn-esque.
Yes, yeah. Hold on here. You are correct. And I should have foreseen that you're in. I've been kind of waiting for you. Here he is. I've been waiting for you guys to bring him up. His name was Kurt Avas. He's basically what would be known as a gray man. He has the ability to not stand out in a group.
Okay. Now, Svart, do you tell me what happened with your little rendezvous to this guy's hotel room?
Do I know?
Well, like
yeah,
when you got
remember
shot at and
he
stuff.
shot at you through the door.
Oh, yeah. We walked up there and knocked on the door and got 2 bullets coming through at us.
Now, did he see you?
Not unless he's got a electronic, a camera looking through the other side of the door, some kind of surveillance. He didn't see us.
Well, I think
But-
we should be okay then, as long as. Well, did he hear your voice or anything? I'm just trying to think. Is there any way he can connect you to the people who he shot?
No,
at
he
last
didn't
time?
hear my voice. He
Okay,
heard
so-
someone else's.
Yes.
All right, so
I would have, I would have just knocked on the door, showed him my expired police card, and, and asked to visit him.
Expired police, like it's a driver's license, right? Like, oh, you're not a real cop. This badge is expired.
Well, I'm still a real driver.
well, we have Kurt Voss on our ship, who's also an Imperial intelligence. Maybe there's a way they can maybe know each other or connection, or maybe we can use him as leverage. Maybe he can tell us if this guy is who he says he is or if he's full of shit.
This is a good idea. Let's go talk to him.
Okay.
Where is
'Cause
he?
He's got to be on our ship still, and I'm
Yeah,
sure in
last
his
time you
hotel-
saw him, he was on Scander doing whatever it is. He honestly
He was
honestly
Trying to find the booze we stole.
yes, honestly, you guys don't see him doing much of anything. I mean, he's not assigned to any particular duty. He would kind of be considered a space hand or a deckhand, kind of going where he's needed. But even then, he seems to be granted a lot of leeway by Magnus. And I mean, you already know Magnus knows who he is too.
Right. Well, I'm tired of this hotel. I spent too much for it.
They don't
I
even
could've
have a
just slept on the
pool.
I can never imagine myself being in such dumps, but it is what it is.
I'm trying to imagine what the pool at an Advantage hotel would look like on a Voss. Probably not good.
It would be a container with
contain-
full of water.
With the top removed, they're just filled with water. Lined with Visqueen. All the edges are sealed with what's that stuff from Billy Mays? Wonder Seal or something.
Oh, flex tape.
Flex tape, yes, it's all sealed with flex tape and Visqueen.
Plus, I told the bar we went to that if they think of any good strong men, to send them to the scanner. So
Yeah, maybe there's somebody there waiting for you. So you guys,
you'll have.
Is there a Spacers Union Hall or something like that around here?
oh shit, I don't even. Probably not. I mean, so Usella, find it.
I suppose the Merchants Guild is the closest we're going to get.
There's not much here on Usella. I mean, they're tech level 7. They don't even have an actual starport. They've just got flattened area. It's considered a Class D starport. There isn't even a Traveler's Aid Society here. There's not even a hostel. So, I mean, there's just not a whole lot here. What? Out of curiosity, I want to say that their population is in the millions. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I pity the poor people who live here then.
It's a 6. So yeah, they've got probably around 8 million people live on the planet. And it is mostly agricultural. But what they do sell, they about once a month. What you were told when you got here is that about once a month a large imperial ship will show up, basically buy up most of the product and then leave with it. There is some leftover. They do some minor sales to various other ships. Probably not on the level of what Magnus is trying to make a deal with them for these parts, though. So that's why Vinkov is kind of sticking his nose where it doesn't belong necessarily, or maybe it does belong. You're not quite sure what all of his goals are.
He's not getting enough cut. He wants more money.
Maybe.
I mean, I think it's more of like the Imperium probably likes having a monopoly on this planet. They don't want us barging in because if they're the only big ship that comes and buys everything, they can set the price.
That's true too. Now the other thing that should be noted is that the ship that comes through is not a is the ship that comes through about once a month and collects all the food is not a merchant vessel. It is Imperial Navy.
So they're getting it for military purposes.
Probably. I mean, you gotta get your mashed potatoes and corned beef hash from somewhere.
I assume that we're on our way back to the ship.
Yeah, you guys take the SUV and head on back to the ship. And when you get back to the ship, you can see that there is still quite the gathering of people around the front of the open cargo bay. Magnus standing up there, kind of like a circus. You expect him to be wearing a top hat like he's the ringmaster. Kind of, selling one or two items here and there. There isn't the one thing that you do notice when you arrive is that there doesn't seem to currently be any additional talk about this big sale that Magnus is trying to make. Instead, he's dealing with some smaller items. But as you guys pull up, and as soon as you step out of the SUV, you are basically mobbed by one right after another. Individuals that from the crowd that are they basically they come up. Oh, hey, if you're looking for a good time, I know some of the best night spots in town. The next guy will come. Oh, I know where some of the best burgers and steaks are. We can go get some food. And another guy comes up. Oh, if you're looking for contacts for selling more merchandise, I know where you can find some of the higher end establishments. And it's just one person after another wanting to basically show you the best places in town.
I hate conmen.
Yeah? Because you said that, Zursi, I will allow you to make a... Gonna make a recon plus... Go ahead and make a recon plus social check.
An 8.
Perfect. So, yeah, you kind of immediately get the feel that these guys aren't just being helpful or friendly, and it doesn't seem like. I mean, of course, these are low men on the totem pole. Women 3, not particularly on Usella, but I'm sure that we'll run into some irradiated planet somewhere. So these guys that are approaching you, you don't necessarily believe that they're con men, although they are low men on totem poles, and they are, of course, wanting to try to shake out any money, shake the tree for any coins that are going to fall. More to the point, some of their questions about, do you want to go here, do you want to go there, or if you're looking for these kinds of people, I know where to take you. How long are you staying on the planet, or what kind of business are you currently in? I can direct you towards those kinds of clients. Those kinds of questions, Zursi, you get the feeling like they are trying to coax information out of you, and they have no real skill at it. They are being clumsy about their attempts to do so.
There's
Well-
more to what they're saying than what they're saying. They're trying to gather intel, but they're doing a shit job at it.
Right, they're trying to gather intel, and they're trying to get you away from the situation here at the cargo at the landing pad.
I wonder why. So, do you know anybody that will buy some fertilizer from us?
I got a whole heap of bullshit to tell.
We've got chemicals. It's got to be some potassium nitrate in there somewhere.
Probably, yes. One of the guys immediately turns to you and goes, I think I might know some people. Yeah, well, we are an agricultural planet, so
yeah, you need fertilizer.
Yeah, he immediately perks up like maybe he's getting somewhere.
I'm just gonna say as I'm walking past that I'm hiring people who are good at protection jobs. I'm hiring people who are good deckhands and need to come here ASAP. I'm just gonna say it as I'm walking through.
I will say that your recon plus social check with the 8. The other thing that none of these individuals would probably be good at that. Like I said, they're low men on the totem pole. Most of them are fairly young. I mean, not that you should read a book by its cover, but looking at them, you're guessing they probably spent some time in the lockup when they were younger, but probably not as much time as they claim. And they need a little bit more time in the weight yard. All of them are a little bit skinny. They're not overly muscular. You can't really, not that any of them are packing, none of them are armed. You can't really imagine any of them being very intimidating in any way. So these are definitely not the guys that you're looking for.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying it like out loud as I'm like walking.
Just walk through it. Like, if anybody wants to get hired,
go to find Kurt.
Okay. What are you doing? Are you following Zursi, or are you staying to interact with these assholes?
One second, I gotta put my son to bed. Give me 1 second.
Well, if you want to buy some fertilizer, talk to the boss. He's on the ship. See you, bye.
Your deckhand says you have a whole load of bullshit. So yeah, we'll give him just a moment here. Yes. I saw on the Traveler forum somebody posted a picture that there is a Traveler whiskey.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I don't think it's tied in any way to this, but that would be nice to have on the bookshelf. It looks like a tasty dram. I don't know what kind of whiskey it is. Probably bourbon. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of bourbon. I don't like corn. I like corn, but I don't like to take a shot of whiskey. And a lot of the cheaper ones, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Those are not good whiskeys. I don't care what anybody wants to tell you. And when you swallow, there is that taste of like toasted corn in the back of your throat. Like it's small, but it's there. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, so Buffalo Trace had a hand in it. Well, okay then. Now you've got my attention. Buffalo Trace is actually pretty good. Flavors of corn, of course.
Flavors of corn.
Yeah, God damn it.
Well, it's
Are
got
you getting alcohol?
well, it's got to be at least 50% corn, right?
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'm not up on.
Well, bourbon is 50% or more
is it?
corn.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not
Yeah.
up on the requirement. I know that the requirements for bourbon are a lot lower than they are for other whiskeys. Like, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I'll still try it. I mean, I'm up for anything.
Well,
Here's-
some found it a good value and a decent option for cocktails. Others found it forgettable, overpriced, and disappointing.
Okay then.
I
That's glowing. That's glowing. Huh.
What a glowing review.
Yes. Oh boy. So so you guys get on back aboard the ship and you track down Kurt. Basically he is sitting in the common area like he usually is. Sitting there reading
Drink.
on a portable, like on a personal computer, a tablet.
So he's not drinking the booze that he found that we stole.
No. He notes he's the only one sitting in the common room because I mean most of the rest of the ship is either engaged in some way with Magnus's market that he set up, or they have been given shore leave, and so he's the only one sitting in this common area.
I'll come and walk up to him and say, Kurt, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while.
He nods. He says, "It's going well, Zursi. Very well indeed. Is there something I could do for you?"
We're in need of your skills, we'll say. Or something.
So he kind of sets the tablet down on the table, and he says, "What skills might you be referring to?"
Your skills in knowledge and intelligence and being able to find those who aren't who they say they are. We have someone who is a fairly bad person.
He kind of you see him kind of look around, and he picks up his pad, and he quickly types out a message on the personal computer, and your mobile comm vibrates. It is a message from Kurt, and he says he doesn't want to blow his cover. He not that he's necessarily hiding, but he just feels that it would be better that the rest of the crew not necessarily know who he is. Sword Worlders and Zursi, you have kind of seen some of this while aboard. I mean, Svart probably hasn't noticed because it's normal. He is a Sword Worlder, but you have seen more than a few anti-imperial. There's some anti-imperial sentiment. There is. They're just not really liked by the Sword Worlders because
I pull up my dagger and start cleaning my fingernails.
Okay. Okay. And so he he directly in this text message says, I can assume that you're talking about Alexander Venkov.
Yes, and
Correct.
there'll be if you need some funding, I can help out with that too. But he's trying to stop us from doing any deals, saying it's against the law, which in my background means that it's not against the law. It's him trying to run an angle is what I pick up on it.
Okay. See exactly how much info
So
Kurt
why don't we
knows.
bribe? Can we bribe him?
I say I can bribe him, and Svart can tell him whatever info that he picked up from going to the office. I haven't actually met the guy
So
in character.
Kurt tells you that, and he sends it again as a text message, and I don't. Oh no, there's no picture, unfortunately, of Alexander Venkov. He he's not, honestly, he's not even important enough that they put him in the book as a a major NPC for you to encounter. But he
Okay.
appears to be pretty important in the last page of this particular planet. He sends a picture of Venkov and a basically an Imperial intelligence dossier on him. Now, a lot of this information is stuff that you already know. That basically Venkov, well, I guess you don't know. Venkov was basically approached by Imperial intelligence long ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. So probably about 3 years before he ended up here on Usella. And
Okay.
according to what this dossier is saying, is that Imperial intelligence kind of turned him into an asset, and because of that, he kind of got backed into a corner, which led to him having charges of fraud and malfeasance put forth by what was the name of that planet? I want to say Sinclair, but I know that's not the name of it. Hold on.
Was it from the Sword Wielders or from the Empire? That
Saknoth. Yeah, it was from the Sword Worlds. They brought the government of Saknoth brought charges against him of fraud and malfeasance. Now, all of those charges, he did this because essentially his deals with the Imperial intelligence kind of fell through, and so that led to him having to run, and he fled rimward, coming to Usella, where Imperial intelligence kind of picked the ball back up and basically told him that now that he was out of the Sword Worlds, if he would act as their representative on the world, they would make sure that he would have a cushy life. Essentially, his mandates are to derail any Sword Worlds enterprise that comes through, as well as reporting on any large-scale Sword Worlds operations. Now, you would know that the large sale that Magnus is attempting to complete at this point would definitely fall into those parameters. This would be you're talking about 8 to 15 mega credit transfer of goods per year. So that's large enough to tick the check boxes for him to try to derail it.
Okay. I would ask Svart what he wants to do, but it's a teenager, so he wants to kill shit.
At mid-20s, might as well be a teenager if I'm a sword worlder.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The requirements of staying patrol are so hard. I would think that by the mid-20s, you're getting a little long in the tooth. That's a tough job, man. Shit, it's easier to stay in the
Well,
scouts.
that's why I went and joined the merchants.
Right, right.
I'll just ask him while also sliding him 100 credits for his this lovely work that I'll have now. He's gonna try to stop Magnus from doing this deal. Would it be improper if we either try to strong arm him or perhaps even killed him? Or would we be better not to do that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, Kurt kind of laughs and he says that strong arming Venkov probably isn't going to work, and the reason that it's probably not going to work is that because anything that you would use to strong arm him is probably not as potent as the backing that he has from Imperial intelligence. So, and it's really not like anybody on Usella is going to care much about what happened on Saknoth as far as. I mean, it would generate a minor scandal that would be completely blown over by whatever the next major event is in the news cycle. That kind of thing, especially on a planet like Usella, is just not going to dredge up much.
More of like I could take this dossier and let Sword World Intelligence know that there's an Imperial spy that's a wanted fugitive of theirs that has a cushy job on this planet, and they may want to deal with him.
So technically speaking, Usella is independent. So unlikely that that they would send patrol out here to nab him, and it would be a situation of. I mean, it would be a really difficult situation in that gray zone because
I know more of like a hit squad, but sure.
well, I mean, even if they came to arrest him, it would be a difficult situation because now he's technically beyond their jurisdiction. He's in like the no man's land between the Empire and the Confederation, and so it would be difficult. And he chuckles at the idea of just eliminating him outright. And he says, I mean, that of course is an option, but you would have to be damn careful about how you do it because, I mean, when you guys got here, the first thing that you found was that the port administrator was, basically dressing down Magnus about the last Sword World ship that came through, and you saw some of the property damage that crew had. I mean, Sword Worlders drink hard and they play hard, and Usella unfortunately saw some of that.
I guess I'll ask her. I did actually give him the money though, so just to kind of help out. But I'll ask him like, do you think the administration here knows he's an Imperial spy? Would outing him out to them cause trouble? Because they're independent.
They are independent, but Usella does want the Empire's protection. There are benefits. Really, though, Usella itself has too many issues internally for them to be really considered seriously. Let's see here. Specifically...
maybe I'm too thinking too high brain with this stuff. Smart, what do you want to do with this guy? Is he actually able to stop our captain from doing business, or is he just all talk?
So their government is a feudal technocracy, which means ruling functions are performed by specific individuals for persons who agree to be ruled by them. Relationships are based on the performance of technical activities that are mutually beneficial. So, an example, those with access to advanced technology tend to have higher social status. So, essentially, this kind of world ends up being a world of haves and have-nots. There is some technology, weapons, and computers that are banned outright because the social elites are the only ones that feel that they should have access to that stuff. So while the rest of this planet is tech level 7, the reality is that that's for the normal populace. People like Alexander Vinkov and probably the port administrator, I would say, is probably at the bottom of this social strata, unfortunately for him. They would have access to probably tech level 8 to 10, and it's possible that Vinkov probably has higher than that. He may have up to tech level 15, stuff that is brought in only for them. And so it can be a very, I don't know. I don't know that I would say that it's an oppressive environment because I don't know that the people of Usella are actually aware of the fact that they are being oppressed.
Okay.
I mean, if they found out, they'd probably be right pissed, but...
Svart, what are your feelings on this?
My feelings?
Yeah. Do you think this guy can actually stop Magnus from doing a sale? Should we just kind of let it be? Should we interfere? I mean, are you wanting revenge for being shot at and all that shit?
If I wanted revenge, I'd just show up with my assault rifle.
Right, you know.
Fuck this planet.
You think the broken window in the bar was bad? Hold on. Somebody hold my mead.
I need some mead. Does Magnus know what's going on?
You don't know.
Well, we need to tell Magnus what's happening and let him know that this isn't really a law, and there has to be there's a requirement for him going through the Merchant Guild, which hasn't happened, and it may be better to ignore it unless the Merchant Guild gets involved.
Well, we also know that he's doing it because his superiors and Imperial intelligence want him to stop sword welders from getting large trade deals. So
that sounds like an excuse for war to me.
Right? Yes. No shit. Well, I mean, it's not oil, but if you ever want to see I know you can go through history and see this multiple times. If you want to see a military suddenly take action, step on their logistics line and stop the food from rolling in. They'll take action right away.
Yeah. All right, Kurt, we're gonna go talk to Magnus. Look
boss.
forward to doing
hey,
some
boss.
more.
As you're stepping away to go out and talk to Magnus, Kurt says, well, he says, my recommendation would be to get to the Merchant Guild and talk to them and tell them that this isn't a law and prove it to them. You guys already have the proof. I mean, that's on your computer.
Thanks, Kurt.
So, where are you going from here? Are you going to Magnus, or are you just doing what Kurt suggested?
Well, we go to Magnus and tell him we want to go to the Merchant Guild, but he needs to know we're going to go.
Okay. So you get down off the ship and kind of make your way through the crowd that is formed and make your way up to Magnus. And Magnus is just completing a sale for some basically small home electronics that are beneath what the local government would ban for standard citizens. I mean, we're literally talking about like AI assistant blender or coffee maker, that kind of thing. Something that is low enough tech level that it's not going to draw any attention. And he notices you as you come up, and he exchanges his money, and he turns and says, "Yes, as you can see, I'm busy with commerce."
Yes, and your commerce may be at risk.
He says, "Oh, what do you mean?"
There's someone here trying to make sure you don't make yourself for your annual self for 3.2 million credits.
He says, "Well, if you're yes, I'm aware that has been a legal challenge claiming that imperial merchants must be given priority over any other, and so I'm afraid that entire deal may be stalled. It's very disappointing."
We have evidence that there is no such law that this must go to bids with imperial providers first. And we also know that if there's a complaint, it has to go to the merchant guild first. And that has not happened.
He says, "Oh, and so are you showing him your portable computers or your mobile comms with this information on it?"
Surely.
So he kind of looks over it, scrolls through it, and he hands it back to you, and he says, "Well, then you need to hurry. Get to the merchant consortium and make sure that that we counter challenge this before it can be brought to their attention."
I think the two of us will go do that. I'm
with
sure
him.
my friend here will help with the diplomatic side of the event.
Yes, I'll throw my money at people until things happen.
Yes.
That's life.
Right. So you guys pile back into the Scander SUV. Somebody needs to make a navigation plus intellect check, and you get a +1 to that.
I don't know how to drive anything.
Well, you don't. You're not. I won't make you make a drive check. I mean, you should be able to drive across town without having to make a check to see if you run anybody over or run into a light post. I mean,
My
I hope.
navigation's at a
I don't have
-2.
navigation. Does anybody? Do you have navigation?
I have it at -2.
Well, it's better. My -3.
Would it be
Well, I mean, if we do intellect and navigation, I'm at -2 as well. So
my best is at -2.
You can both make it. That's fine.
Okay.
The two of you are standing over the touch screen trying to figure out how to get it to work.
The two characters that I made for diplomacy and combat.
Oh, Svart got it.
Oh.
So Zursi's like trying to figure out how to use the touch screen in the big Ford Explorer Humvee that you're driving, and Svart looks it up and is able to get the location of the local merchants consortium's head office. Ford Explorer, yes. Honestly, the Ford Explorer is probably better built than the Humvee. And
the moment we get
not
to a
saying
better
much.
tech world,
it's much
I'm
better
buying
now
some
that
robots.
once they replace the engine that blew up.
Yeah. Oh God, I had a friend that went out and bought the like. I don't even think that the new Ford Bronco was out for a month, and he went out and got one. And I'm like, never buy a brand new vehicle that is, first year.
Bad.
Yep, nope. First year's always shit, and no kidding. Like within the first 4 months, it was before they did a recall, and it was basically reports of these things blowing their engine. Well, told you. It didn't happen to him, but it's not like he plays hard too. It's not like he was going gentle on it. There's a picture of him actually launching it off of a sand dune. He probably got a good 5 feet of air. I'm like, be careful, man. The whole thing's just going to come apart. Like if you drop a Lego car too hard, it just blows apart into a million pieces. So Zursi finds directions to this, and you guys are able to drive over to the Merchant Consortium. I mean, it's midday traffic. Probably takes you probably a good 2.5 hours to get there.
Holy moly, must be 20 miles away.
Well, it's in the heart of the downtown area. And, of course, like any navigation system, it's going to say, oh, turn right here, but that's a one-way street, and I don't want to go the wrong direction, so then I'm going to go up another street. And then it's going to have to reroute me, and then this one wants me to drive through somebody's fucking backyard. And, all of that. But you finally get there, and you walk in, and it is kind of like a courthouse-style building with a large marble counter up front, and they want the receptionist asks what they can help you with.
We're representatives of the Scander?
The Scander, yes.
And we'd like to talk to someone concerning a proposed purchase. A purchase sell to merchandise here. And
she looks up on her computer, and she says that there is a guild representative available, and that she goes ahead and buzzes him, and after about 5 minutes of waiting around, she gives you directions. She says he's in his office, and he's perfectly willing to discuss any off-world merchant concerns.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I slip her $20.
Tipping the secretary. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you, sweetheart. Do you have 3 breasts?
So you go to where she directed you. He's up on the 2nd floor. You take the elevator up, and not what you expected. I mean, these are like high end. I mean, of course they are. It's a guild, high end office building. Like you feel like you are in an expensive attorney's office rather than the Merchants Guild. And of course, the Merchants Guild collecting their fees is going to be better off than just about anybody. Both of you can make a recon plus intellect check.
Before we got the elevator, I will say, Svart, oh god, I suck. Svart, we have to play the part. So you'll play as my second, if you know what that means.
Sure.
And once again, I kind of take a moment, make sure that my...
So immediately, Svart, as you get up onto the 2nd floor, and you're noticing all these offices, most of them are open. There are large glass offices, and they have blinds that can be shut, or the part that is getting Svart is that some of them have a mimetic glass. So electronically, these windows can be told to frost over. You're also noticing, Svart, that there are some much higher end electronics gear in most of these offices. You're seeing more along the lines of like tech level 10, similar to what you guys have aboard Scander. Much higher tech level up here than what the secretary is using downstairs.
Yeah, I quickly make sure that my uniform looks decent, and the little bit of bling I put on it looks nice, and walk towards this office.
Make sure your flare is all straight.
Well, I put a couple of my medals and adornments from my diplomatic days around my uniform, so it looks
okay.
It's like that guy has some importance, but that you don't really know what.
Sure. You got to have a little fruit salad. So you guys come to the office, and you enter. He has his own private assistant, and she looks up and she says, "Oh, you must be here to see Mr. Solson." And she says, "Go ahead and go on in. We've been waiting for you." And so you walk in, and when you walk in, Alexander Vinkov is already standing there, and he says, "Oh, good. I was wondering when the crew of the Scander would show up."
I don't think my character ever met him in character, though, because I think when I went and saw him, I stayed out in the vehicle. I think.
I think you are correct. Yeah, they
So I'll
they
just
first
act-
ran into him at I think now I'm drawing a blank. Was it
They went to the administration building.
the administration
something.
building? Yeah.
So
Hold
I
on.
stayed in the vehicle. Oh,
Hold on
okay.
one second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that.
Very good.
So yeah, he's standing there, and he says, "Oh, I was waiting for when the crew of the Scander was going to show up."
I'll go up to him oblivious and be like, "Hello, my name is Zursi. Nice to meet you."
He go ahead and make a make a diplomacy plus social check. Okay, and he reaches out and he shakes your hand. You immediately notice this guy's hand's like twice the size of yours, and he shakes your hand. He says, "Finally, somebody from the crew of this vessel that actually has some tact."
I mean, I've spent many years doing many diplomatic things. I also shake the other guy's hand, the guild guy's hand, and
Okay.
do
Yeah,
formalities with him too.
and he says, and he shakes your hand. And says, "Oh, yeah, yes, hello." He says, and the guild representative says to you, he says, "Do I hint a hint of Zetatel in your Zadel? Zetatel?" There's a lot of Z's in the wrong places with Jadani. They have too many consonants right next to each. And he says, "Do I catch a hint of that accent in your speech?"
What do you say, a tall?
No, Zatel is the name of what the language of the Zhidani consulate.
Oh, I'll be straightforward. I'm like, oh yes, you did.
He says, interesting. He says, I have not ever met any of your people, and he makes he passes it off as a joke. I mean, how you how you want to take it is as up to you. He says, "You're not read." As he's shaking your hand, he says, "You're not reading my mind, are you?"
Of course I am.
I'm gonna hold.
Not yet.
I'm gonna hold his hand and just like look a little close and be like, well, I mean, I can read your mind. I can also melt your mind if I really wanted to, but I would never do such a thing.
And he
I'm
stops.
a man of peace.
He kind of pauses for a moment, and then he starts shaking your hand again. Ah, yeah, you almost had me there. He says, so he says, Mr. Vinkov here tells me that your ship is attempting to illegally make a sail here on Usella with the port officials. According to Mr. Vinkov, there is a law on the books that precedence must be given to imperial merchants before any such sale goes through. And so he says, I can tell you, he says, that this is standard practice. We've been doing it this way for some time.
From my research, I don't believe there is actually a law that says anything. I know that obviously the Imperium, sorry, they tend to come here and do most of the buying and selling of goods on this planet almost exclusively. But I mean, we're merely just dropping off. Some may say it's a large purchase, but I mean, it's not that large. We're just a merchant class.
Do you have advocate? I mean, you can make. I'm going to because
I do have advocate.
I have it.
So in addition,
What do you have it as? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say what we need is an advocate plus education check, but because you have the law open and on your mobile comm or your personal computer, I'm going to give you a +3 to that roll.
Can I use intellect instead of education?
Me too.
Sure.
How about social?
I mean,
I'm all dressed.
advocate is I mean, yeah, social can sometimes play into the whole art of lawyering too. Yeah, I'll allow. Usually with something like advocate, though, it is something that education is really required for, but I will allow an intellect check.
I got 9 and he got a 14.
Wow. Okay. And Alexander Vinkov, neither does he have he doesn't have the law open, and he doesn't have advocate. And he's, I mean, we're going to be honest here, he's not really that bright either. He's got a -1 to his intellect. So I put him at his -4. He cannot beat you. Ooh, he got a whole whopping 0. And so Vinkov he hems and haws and clumsily tries to bring up the point that, well, this is standard practice. I mean, it may not be a law on the books, but this is standard practice. This is how business is done. But Zursi points out in I was going to say plain English, but it's never in plain English, is it? He points out
lawyer speak.
Yes, legalese. He highlights sections and counters every point. And the guild representative kind of looks at you and he says, "Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Vinkov, and you can give my apologies to Imperial Command, but I believe Zursi is correct in that this is not an official law. This is just kind of how everybody's been doing business, and he admits, he says that the merchant consortium has been doing this, and as far as I know, and this goes back to before I was here, um, it was more or less a verbal agreement. They are the crew of the Scander is not required to await a challenge. They can go ahead and your merchant business can go through. You do not have to await for the challenge. And of course, Vinkov is all blustering, and he says, "Oh well, this isn't right. I want to appeal this decision." And the guild leader says, "You are perfectly, welcome to do that. The appeal process will usually take about 4 to 6 weeks before it will be heard by the board of directors. So, go ahead and you can talk to my assistant. She will go ahead and put that paperwork through for you." He says, "So, if that concludes our business for today, I bid you farewell, Zursi and Svart. I thank you for your time and your diligence in looking into this matter."
And once again, I'll stand up and shake his hand and say, "It was a pleasure meeting you. I hope that your merchant guild does well on this planet. I have many more planets to go to."
So,
And I'll oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then I'll go back to the guy I can't remember the guy who like what's his name again.
Alexander Vinkov.
I'll go to Alexander and reach my hand out and be like I respect putting up a good fight, even if the fight is wrong.
Right. and he Vinkov kind of reads the room, and he shakes your hand. More or less, you could tell by the firm grip and the look on his face, he's not happy about any of this. He's certainly not happy about losing out to an actual legal precedent, and he's not happy about having to shake your hand in this. The look on his face would be one of normally murderous intent, but if he doesn't do it in front of one of the guildmasters, he's going to look like the even bigger asshole than he already is. And so he realizes that you've outplayed him and shakes your hand while grinding his teeth.
Gentlemen, farewell. We have a ship to unload and more planets to explore.
All right, so you guys pile back into your SUV and head back to the ship. And so representatives from the guild actually get to the Scander before you do, and you pull up, and there are merchant consortium reps there. That when you get out, you can see that Magnus is concluding the deal as intended, and with that, time on Usella is growing short because Scander will be continuing on. If there's any last-minute business you want to conduct on Usella, you are more than welcome to do so.
Can I buy a 6-pack of beer?
They do have that on Usella, yeah. they do have that. I would think.
Stops by the local liquor store and grabs a 6-pack.
Yes, I would think. I doubt that there's any high-end microbrews or anything like that. It's probably all, Keystone, but yeah, they've got it.
I just look around real quick and see if there's probably nobody of the kind I'm looking for waiting for me, and I'll be like, next planet, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the bulk of the people that you meet here on Usella they're kind, for the most part. They're simple, and most of them are living an agrarian lifestyle. most of the people that you've met in the city are either tied to that business or taking advantage of it. And if you've ever gone to a fair where they are having like FAA competition, you know the people that I'm talking about. So the people that are doing the FAA competition or even organizing it, they're kind, simple, hardworking people. And then there's the people above them that are oftentimes buying the livestock, and this is sometimes seen in more corporate farming regions. They're not that way. They're a little devious. So
right. We have other places to go. It'll be awesome.
yes. So Svart buys some beer.
Also, Svart, I will, for helping me look amazing and everything else, I will give you 1,000 credits.
Ooh.
Well, thank you. My purse can appreciate that.
Don't spend it all on booze, please.
Why, I'll look for some clothes. Like some armor.
For a second, I forgot what I was doing. Both of you can roll 2D. Svart, nope, you're just 2D. Zursi, you can roll 2D plus 1.
Oh, so the 6 becomes a 7.
Yep, nope, that's not high enough. And Svart. Oh, so Magnus is very impressed with Svart bringing this to his attention, and with you guys going and dealing with it. He's a little less impressed with Zursi, more because he would have expected Zursi to. He expected a little bit more from Zursi. He expected him to kind of know what to do, and know that not everything needs to be immediately brought to his attention, kind of situation. But he's very impressed with Svart, and so his outlook on Svart goes up. Both of you can roll 2D again, just a flat 2D.
8.
The crew, however, is very impressed with Zursi. Not so much Svart. The crew, the crew kind of feels like Svart was kind of being an ass kisser, but they are impressed with Zursi. They kind of put the reverse of Magnus. They kind of put all of this newfound wealth that just came in as being kind of at the hand of Zursi. And so with that, the ship sets course for Gohatcher and makes jump. What are you guys doing with your week and jump? You can, of course, do the normal. You can add a week to your study time if you'd like. Or you can do something.
I'm doing a week of study time.
Okay.
7 weeks for diplomacy.
Okay. Where are you at, Svart?
He should be a week ahead of me because you got that bonus week at some point.
Does that put you at 8 weeks for Svart?
No, I just started a new one. I'm doing leadership.
Oh, that's right.
I failed getting electronics. But since I did good in guarding the ship, I figured I'd do leadership.
Right?
Well, especially since that's what I did in the other ship. There's only 6 crews, but they were kind of made me the 4th officer. I made sure the deckhands guarded the ship and loaded the crew and unloaded, and I wasn't the purser.
Right. So, God, on a merchant ship, especially from the Sword Worlds, I think that would have to be the second worst job to be a purser on. I mean, being a purser on like a pirate ship would be the worst. But I mean, can you imagine the stress of that? Because you're just going to constantly have people going, "Hey, I need some money for this. I need some money for this. I need some money for this."
We
So,
don't have any. We don't have any. We don't have any.
right? Yeah, we're broke.
Unless
We're broke.
and unless you're the captain, we don't have any.
Right. Yeah, and if you're on a pirate ship and you say we don't have any for too long, then you have to worry about being, in air quotes, replaced. Yeah. So during the week in Jump, you guys at different times throughout the week, you're in your cabin studying, and there's a knock on your cabin door. And when you open up your door, you don't see anybody outside, but there is a bottle of a high-end Danebian whiskey sitting that is leaning up next to the door, and it is of a similar brand and quality to what was found in the stash of Kurt.
Is that his door or my door?
But
both?
it happens to both of you at some point throughout the week, different times, but it happens to both of you.
I look at it and go, I wonder what this is. It's not beer.
I don't think I've ever had this.
I'll keep it for a rainy day or for whenever I need to bring a gift to somebody.
Okay. So the week goes by fairly uneventfully. You go about your normal duties aboard the ship as well as your study time. But it is all fairly non-adventurous. And after the week, the alarm goes off and the ship's system lets you know that you are coming out of jump. This is the Go Hatcher system. It is a F8 primary sequence 5-star. Lot of ice worlds, a couple of gas giants. Go Hatcher itself has a Class C starport. Now, before we get too far into that, the one thing to bring up and Magnus will, of course, as you guys are coming into the system, if you notice here, you're now in the red area, pink area. Go Hatcher is inside of Imperial space. In fact, Go Hatcher is I guess you could say a vassal planet. It is owned by the Iterati system. It is pure and simple Imperial territory. It is the possession of Iterati. On the other hand, Go Hatcher has a population of around 50 million people. It has a reasonable Class C starport. And there are, of course, significant trade opportunities here. The world has a thin atmosphere, enough water to be a major agricultural exporter. Much of its produce is sent directly to Iterati, but there is sufficient surplus that quite a large lot of items can be purchased at the starport. Grain, vegetable crops, and whatnot can be stored for quite a while. Obviously, flash freezing does wonders. But they also have meat, and it's available in smaller quantities. But unless you have like a pre-order, large quantities can be kind of difficult to attain. And Magnus has the intent to come down here and purchase a large quantity of flash frozen meat for sale as luxury items later in the merchant cruise. And so that's the purpose for coming to Go Hatcher. Now, he does tell you that because this is an Imperial world, of course, Skander being a heavily armed... Well, they keep saying that it's heavily armed, but let me just, out of curiosity. Skander. Here it is, merchant cruiser. So this is Scander. Yeah, I guess it is. 2 missile bays, 4 particle beam barbettes, 20 dual turret pulse lasers, 12 triple turrets with 2 beam lasers and a sandcaster each. So yeah, Scander is a heavily armed merchant ship from the Sword World. And so that, of course, is going to that's going to trigger the Imperial authorities for a rather lengthy space worthiness check, and they're going to go over the entire ship with a fine tooth comb. I mean, he's planning on having to be here for probably a week, maybe more. Could be 2 weeks. 2 weeks is actually probably more likely. And so immediately coming out of Jump, there is a number of ships in the region. Do either of you have electronics sensors?
I have electronics is 0.
Go ahead and make an electronics plus intellect check. And you, hold on.
I have electronics computer.
That would give you electronics at 0. So sensor, anything else would be at 0. But let me double check something. So it only has civilian sensors. So just go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll a. Yeah, there you go. So Zursi got it. So
I didn't roll.
Oh, that was Svart. That was Svart. So you do a sensors check, and you do come up with one other ship in the system. I need my list of ships.
And it's a pirate, and we have to fight him.
I'm not saying that's impossible, but I think
tell me we're not in dry necks.
Right, yes. No, I would think that you would do better with the guns on Scander than you would before. I thought it would have been in there. Maybe not. The other ship is a far trader called the Vitaki. And it's just pinging as a far trader. It is actually making its exit out of the system, but it's the only other.
And they bought all the fast frozen meat.
yeah. On a far trader, probably not. They have I want to say 20 tons of cargo space without looking it up. Probably not. But there are. In addition, this was the only other merchant type ship, and it's a tramp freighter. You do see, of course, that there are Imperial ships in orbit around Gohatcher, and they give you a simple yet curt kind of greeting, welcome to the system, kind of thing. And Magnus comes out and goes ahead and orders the pilot to bring the Scander into port. And he turns to you guys, who are probably sitting in some bridge. It sounds like Svart was sitting at sensors. He turns to you guys and he tells you, he explains that, we're going to be here for a while. And he says, because of the extensive extensive inspection of the ship and its space worthiness, he says that means that the command crew of the bridge are going to be more or less busy. Me, the first officer, the captain, the chief of engineering, chief of security, all those people are going to be tied up dealing with this lengthy inspection process that we are going to likely have to go through. And he says, so what I need is, he explains to you that he wants to buy a large amount of frozen meat. He says, however, he says, because we are showing up and requesting this ad hoc rather than having contacted them ahead of time, the ranches, I was able to contact them as soon as we came out of jump, and I've received word back that there are several of these ranchers that are willing to sell to us. But he says that they are going to be doing a cattle drive from their ranch back to the starport to load up. And he says, knowing what I know, I would like both of you to go and kind of oversee this cattle drive. He says, I know that this is probably, this is of course above and beyond what you signed up for. He says, but I want some of my representatives to be there because it is often the case with these kinds of cattle drives that the ranchers, there is what is known as an acceptable level of loss. A loss that members of the herd will wander off. They don't make it to the end point for whatever reason, and I want you to be there to make sure that the highest number possible actually gets from point A to point B with the least amount of loss possible.
What's the law order? What's the law level?
Well, to tell you a little bit more about Go Hatcher, it has a Class C starport. It is considered an agricultural trade world. Right, so it's
He's trying to make us cowboys.
754. Yes, you're gonna have to be cowboys. So it is. Go Hatcher is approximately 11,200 kilometers in diameter. It has a surface gravity of 0.9 Gs.
It's kind of big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little large. Yeah.
Must be made out of aluminum.
It's just a little bit smaller than Earth. And oops, wrong book. 754. And it has a thin atmosphere, not enough that you need a filter. It is a shirt sleeves environment. Pressure is between 0.43 and 0.7, depending on elevation where you're at. Of course, it is going to be a higher number towards sea level. It is 36 to 45% hydrographic percentage, so it is a wet world. So there are frequent rains. There's a lot of lakes, rivers, streams, probably more than a few small oceans and seas, maybe one large ocean. 6. About 50 million people live on this world. It has a captive government. Ruling functions are performed by an imposed leadership answerable to an outside group. So that's because they are owned by Iterati in the 1 parsec core word. And their law level is 6. All firearms... Wait, that can't be right. Is that right? It certainly is. All firearms, except shotguns and stunners, carrying weapons is discouraged. Now, having said that, let me look back at their captive government. Yep, weapons, technology, and traveler. Or no, weapons, technology, and travelers are possibly considered contraband. So you yourselves could be considered contraband. Having said that, there are some exceptions, like hunting rifles, revolvers, things like that, are allowed out on the open range because these ranchers, of course, need some way to protect themselves from them pesky vermins, and so those are acceptable, and you can purchase a firearms license for such at the starport, at the Class C starport, and the cost of that license will be covered by the scander.
And what's the tech level?
Tech level is 7.
I'd like
I
to
only
buy a
have-
shotgun
You probably can do that one, but you're going to need to stop and get the license first and all of that.
first.
Because that's the first thing they're
And-
going to ask for.
And can we get some armor here?
Oof.
I'm not looking for battle dress. I'm looking for
So, oddly enough, they don't have any bans on armor, which I find difficult to believe. I would think that
Well-
everything below it would be probably banned. So mesh, cloth, flak, combat armor, and battle dress are all, of course, banned. So you could probably... Well, flak, shit.
I'd like to buy a mesh.
Yeah, it doesn't list it. I mean, if nobody's got any... Yeah, it's blank here, too. I mean,
We're going out in the rain. We're going out in the country. I want a mesh or something. Hunter's garb. It's only +2, but it's better than nothing when facing the wild animal.
So, Skander sets down in port, and as, like, on cue, there is practically a small army of Imperial port security and inspections officers and whatnot that essentially comes in and is going to be swarming over the ship, checking every nook and cranny for contraband and smuggling compartments, and they're going to do a space worthiness check. They'll issue fines if your hull registry is not up to date. They'll go over the logbooks. I mean, this is going to take a while. And as expected, he is, of course, stuck. Him and the command crew are all stuck while you guys go and conduct business for him. Getting over to the starport, there is a good-sized star town around the starport, but most of the official business, if you are going out through that transitory period into the star town and beyond, that most of your government business before leaving the starport can be conducted here, and you can, of course, purchase licenses. Now, of course, because this is an Imperial starport, you can walk around carrying a pistol in your... I mean, you could technically walk around with a long arm on your shoulder, and probably you'll get some looks from security, but nobody's going to stop you. Most of the people that aren't... A lot of spacers don't ever even bother to leave the starport, and so a lot of them are walking around with a gun on their head. There is an Instel Arms office that sells almost anything that you could imagine. Of course, some of the higher end stuff is going to require that you have a list ticket for a mercenary license. Meaning, you're not going to get any of the big military hardware unless you have a military mercenary license.
Well, I've already got an ACR.
Right.
So it's not like I'm going to purchase anything more than that as a soldier on an Imperial world.
Right.
Unless you can sell me a bazooka.
Well, Instel Arms could sell you a bazooka, technically.
I want a 3.5 inch, the original one.
Yes. Like tech level 6.
Where do we buy the license to carry?
So they do have an office that will issue a license. It's like 50 credits each, but like you said, or like you were told, that is covered by Skander. What I need for you guys to do is make an admin plus intellect check. And so if one of you has admin and the other doesn't, you can make the admin check for both of you.
You want intellect or maybe social instead?
No, this is going to be an intellect because you're filling out paperwork.
This is admin plus what?
Intellect?
Oh, then I'm +1.
Whoa!
I got 14.
Yeah. So Zursi whips it out and tells Svart, like, sign here, sign here, sign here. And you fill out the paperwork, and they check it over. It is spotless. They rubber stamp it, and or thumbprint it rather. It's probably digital. And you are issued a temporary firearms license that essentially covers the most basic of items for weapons and armor. Armor. Mesh is not going to be available for purchase.
How about Hunter's Field Garb?
Yes, that is available. And you not only that, but you can get it at the list price of 10,000 credits.
10,000.
Yes.
I'm just wearing my protect suit. Would they be mad if I had my laser pistol on me?
Probably not. I mean,
I'll just conceal. Can I conceal that? Oh.
I mean, you could try, but the problem with concealing laser pistols is that they have a belt feed power pack, and there's a cable that goes between them, so they are complicated to hide.
Oh.
But you you can carry it with you, yeah. I mean,
actually, I'll just take my body pistol instead. I haven't used it yet. Might as well. Maybe I'll use it for once.
Okay, so you tuck the body pistol. Yes, they have Hunter Field Garb for 10,000 credits. They have. You can wear a cloth trench coat or a cloth jacket. Full cloth armor though is banned. Flak jacket.
I already own that.
Right. Ballistic.
So I'll buy a cloth jacket.
Okay. All right. So cloth jacket you can get for 500 credits. All of these are imports, imperial imports. The typical tech level of the world is tech level 7, but because they are an imperial world, they do have a lot of imported goods, especially to the starport.
Okay. How about weapons? I'm carrying the big heavy revolver that's from the ship, and 100 rounds of ammunition.
That's a lot of rounds. Like, one pocket of your cloth jacket is like way lower. Like, you're kind of leaning over from this big box of bullets in your pocket.
No, it goes into my survival kit pack.
Okay.
And my basic med kit.
So are you looking for pistols or are you looking for rifles?
I'm looking for something that, something bigger, something heavier than my revolver.
Okay.
Something long.
Why not just use your ACR? Or is that not allowed?
Can I use my ACR?
I mean, that would the advanced combat rifle would definitely not fall under what this license would allow.
It's a hunting rifle.
Yeah, it's a hunting rifle. Wait, these are. Oh,
I mean, it's a military. It's military, so.
Right. Yeah. No.
I don't expect it to be on a commercial license.
Yeah. No. A civilian license at that. So, off of this chart.
I suppose I can carry my long blade.
Yes, you can.
And my dagger.
So the big game rifle.
I'm a sword wielder. I have to have a sword. I have to have blade instruments as a sword wielder.
So the big game rifle is available for 50 credits. Has a magazine of 5. It is huge. Does 3D plus 3 damage. A normal rifle is available.
This is all you. I'm not a combative person. My guys' combat skills are.
I'm sorry. The big game rifle is 1,250. Standard rifle does 3D damage, is 200 credits. A shotgun does 40 damage and is 200 credits. They do have a light shotgun for 150 credits that has 10 meters less range, but does not have the bulky trait, so it's easier to kind of tuck and hide under like a trench coat.
Let's see. Big game rifle.
Snub carbines are available. And that's kind of it for rifles.
I'll just buy a regular rifle.
Okay.
Are we able to take out the Scander's one of the 2 mini ships it has in it?
You could take one of the shuttles.
Just I think would be the easiest way to get to the
ranch.
places we have to go.
Yeah, in fact, you could have somebody. You could have somebody take you and drop you off. One of the flight crew can of course.
The flight crew just be our little chauffeur pilot.
Well, yeah, they'll be your chauffeur pilot to get you there. You're going to be coming back riding with the cattle drive.
Well, what are we supposed to come back riding?
Well, it's funny that you ask that. So, Svart, you're buying.
I subtracted my money.
Okay, so you bought yourself. This is basically a lever action, probably a Marlin, the only rifle rated to kill a T-Rex. But it doesn't have a scope, or it does have a rail on it, so you could put a scope on it later if you wanted to. But it's just a lever action rifle. Is there anything that you are purchasing, Zursi?
Well, my amazing gun combat skills of energy 1, and that's it.
Well, that still gives you slug 0.
And my heavy weapons skill, which I got from my time in the military. Oops, I just hit my camera.
You know, every single time, you're going to appreciate having that skill, because every single time I've had to call for it, like, nobody in the group in any of my games has ever had it, and they all wish that they did. So,
I think I picked it up just so that way I could fire the guns on the ship or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, that would be gunner turret or gunner capital, possibly artillery. But yeah, no. Now my camera's all wonky.
No, my wire's weird. If I accidentally kick it, it disconnects my camera. So that's what happens.
Oh,
I don't know, because like I said, my guy is not very good when it comes to combative stuff. This is more of Svart's realm.
Yes.
But no,
leave the violence to the young.
My guy's kind of sitting back thinking, like, how are we getting back here?
So, you are wondering this the entire shuttle ride over, and the ship drops you off. You guys, so
I was gonna see if we could buy some cowhands.
Somebody can make a electronics sensors plus intellect check.
I've only got electronics computers, so
but you would have sensors at 0. 0 plus your intellect mod.
So just 2d6 plus 1 then?
Yep.
So I got a 7.
So a 7, you only need, it was a routine check, you only needed a 6. So this is the overland map of where you will be traveling to. So down here is the capital city where the starport is, Class C starport, and this black dotted line is the projected route that the cattle will be taking. And up here is where the cattle ranch is. Now, one of these hexes is 1.6 kilometers, so it's a long cattle drive. And the shuttle brings you up to this cattle ranch, and you disembark, and you can see that these ranchers are all there's a large corral that is set up, and they have herded a bunch of cattle into this corral, you see a couple of things. You see that the guys with the really nice hats, they're the ones that are driving in four-wheel drive SUVs. Now, as you step off the shuttle and the shuttle takes off to head back to the starport, one of these fancy ranchers, who doesn't look like he's got a speck of dirt on him anywhere, comes up and he shakes your hand and he says, you must be from Skander. He says, welcome to our ranch. And he says, see, got some good beef stock there for you. All we got to do is get them down the trail to your starport. Now, of course, you didn't bring any kind of vehicle. I wouldn't have expected you to. You're both welcome to ride with us in the SUVs if you'd like. Alternately, and you see that there are a number of electric dirt bikes that are around. A lot of the ranchers are on these electric dirt bikes. In addition to that, some of the ranchers are riding Kian. Kian, I believe I have it in here. I do.
All right, I'm riding in a truck. If you want to ride on an animal or a dirt bike, you go ahead.
So they have these large flightless.
Why am I not surprised?
So a lot of the ranchers are riding on these large flightless birds. They're not really birds.
Okay.
They look like birds, but they actually give birth to live young, etc. They are actually mammalian. So these are common throughout charted space. There are a number of ranchers that are riding Kian. They're generally, they've got a kind of pissy, disagreeable temperament to them, but they are quite reliable for this kind of work. Some of the ranchers are riding around on actual horseback, and both of you can make a Recon plus intellect check.
Let's see. That would be a plus. That would be a +1. If I can remember how to get to the roller.
Right. I have that problem sometimes.
I got an 8.
Okay, so Svart, you realize that the horses, I mean, you look at them and they're magnificent animals. I mean, they look like the real thing. And then you realize that they're not. They are actually synthetic. These are biological android horses. There's only a couple of them. And I mean, ranchers would have to be making a lot of money in order to afford even a couple of these things. They're quite spendy.
No kidding. And I just look at him and go, okay, this bird thing, is this common in the sword worlds?
The sword worlds there are many different varieties of Kian, and there are some of the sword worlds, you've seen them before. Some of the sword worlders do use them. There are some that are bred with a kind of a shaggier, heavier, kind of feathery kind of fur coat for cold worlds. There are some that are bred for speed. Yes, you've seen them throughout the sword world.
I ask if I can ride one of them.
Yeah, most certainly. They go and they saddle one for you, and they bring it out, and they're like, before they go out and put a saddle on one, this kid, he's probably 18, 19 years old, and he says, have you ever ridden before?
Yes.
Okay, then he goes and he picks one, and he says, I only wanted to know because I would have got you one that was a little bit less disagreeable than they normally are. And he brings this Kian out for you.
Get on the left side and no stand behind it nor in front of it.
Yes. Or next to it. Don't touch it. Pretend it. Don't look it in the eye. So, you mount up, Zursi. You're gonna ride in the SUV.
I'm just gonna look at Svart and say, "Enjoy your life."
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna go live in comfort.
and I leave my survival pack with all that equipment in the SUV with the smart man.
Okay.
But I take 18 rounds of ammunition with me and the rifle.
Okay. I am
I will
going
check. Do we have mobile comm out here, or is it too far out in the boonies?
You do have mobile comm. This planet has a much better worldwide network. I mean, one of the benefits of being a true imperial world is that even with all of the outback, they do have good coverage.
It's Elon Musk. He's put all these little satellites up in.
He partnered with T-Mobile, and now you have a worldwide network at 42G.
It'll be useful whenever
It's only
Svart
It's
gets
only
knocked off his satellite.
$150 a month.
Right.
Did you know that makes more money than his spaceship company?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that in the least.
Well, Svart, if you fall and break your neck, I'll be able to call the scanner and get a ship out here to pick you up.
Thank you. I brought my beer and my generic water.
I'm just going to use the Scander SUV as a place marker for as you mosey on down the trail. And so this is a perfect spot to break. We will pick this up next week on Friday night at 6 o'clock, and we will see your cowboy adventure as you do a cattle drive back to the starport.
This is gonna end in me dying.
I'm not made out to be a cattle rancher. This isn't right.
Supposedly PayPal's finally gonna let me fix my account tomorrow.
Oh wow! I'm impressed that they actually responded at all. All right.
It's taken forever.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, I thought I'm gonna be honest. I thought PayPal was bad. Having to deal with Cash App, worse, way worse. Like unbelievably bad, just incredibly bad. This last customer service call, I was to the point of saying that fuck it, I'm just not going to use them anymore. But
I've been actually pretty lucky. I've had to call PayPal twice and actually got service within like 10 minutes. They're like, "Okay, your problem's fixed. Good to go."
Yeah, see,
I've been working on this a month.
The 2 times that I've had to deal with PayPal, I was essentially told, "Tough shit, fuck off." They basically docked my account for money twice on a single transaction, and I was like, "Wait, why did you take it out twice?" Doesn't matter. Tough shit. You're out. However much it was. I'm like,
Wow.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Now, granted, the caveat is my PayPal account is at this point almost 20 years old, so I'm a very long-term customer. That may be
mine's probably got to be about that old too. I mean, I want to say, shit.
I think my account's 18 years old, roughly.
Yeah, mine's got to be about that old too, because I had it way before my wife and I met. So, yeah, I had it because I forget why I had to have it, but I got it for something to do with one of the gaming lands that I went to, and had to have one for whatever reason. And it was a massive pain in my ass twice.
I got one for eBay.
yeah, there's that too, right?
Actually, I think when you wanted to sell, it used to be, I think when you wanted to sell on eBay, I think you had
to have a PayPal account. Yeah, indeed. All right, guys, I will catch you next week, and hopefully
we'll see how I survive my Ren Fair.
Yes, I have fun at your Ren Fair, walking around in 80-degree heat and plate mail.
Well, I'm gonna wear chainmail instead, I think.
Yeah, let's through a nicer breeze.
Yeah. I know. I keep denying the water. Earlier today they were saying there's a potential thunderstorm. Actually, no, there is. Now they raised it to a 47% chance of thunderstorms.
I don't necessarily know I'd want to be outside in metal armor in a thunderstorm. That I think there was
My
a
buddy
book
from
about
with
that.
me is in full steel plate mail though, so I think he'll get struck by
Yeah,
lightning first
right.
before me.
Right. All
Well,
right.
that's also for yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was that's also for Holly or for my area of Michigan, not where the Ren Fair is. So
Oh,
I
well,
was gonna look up.
then maybe you'll get lucky.
Maybe it'll rain and your suit will rust.
Well, that's why you oil it. It'll be fine.
Just bring the can of oil.
Little WD-40
Yes.
cures anything.
Yes.
Nope, they're even saying for the Holly for Sunday it's 81 and only rain, but 50% chance of rain.
Ugh, that's gonna be gross. 81 and rain. It's
Lovely
gonna be
and
muggy and shit.
Humid as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be sweating bullets, my friend.
Great. Yeah, so aren't you guys playing Castles and Crusaders or something? Because I remember saying about that.
So I don't know. So the Saturday game has kind of ended. I'm. So I basically work on this stuff 6 to 7 days a week, and I'm debating taking some time off from the Saturday game. But then the other part of me is like, no, you want to keep running games. So right now, what the plan is if I do start up another Saturday campaign, it will be starting a new Castles and Crusades campaign. So if you want info on that, I can shoot that your way.
Another thing you may consider, look up if you haven't played them. Call of Cthulhu is always a fun one.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Paranoia is a really
I've run Paranoia. It is. I don't know that I could run it all the time though because it is so ridiculous. But yeah, might run a.
I have every single Paranoia thing on Roll20.
Yeah, I've got Paranoia.
I've run a game only once or twice.
Yeah, I picked up the latest version of Paranoia when it came out, and I even got one of their, I forget the name of it, but it's like the first anthology of adventures. I think there's like 5 adventures in there. So, yeah,
Yep.
that's a possibility. We might do something like that too. So, I don't know.
I always love Call of Cthulhu. That's my baby.
Yeah, if I see, I'm a purist, so if I run Call of Cthulhu, there won't be a happy ending. All the characters will either be dead or insane by the end.
You can't have a
Right, right, yes.
When I tell people that they're interested, I'm like, here's the odds: 45% chance of death, 45% chance of going insane, and losing control of your character, 10% chance your character will survive the ending.
Right. I mean, even if you run Pulp Cthulhu, it's not like those odds go up drastically. I mean, maybe by 5%, but
right.
I mean, I like Pulp Cthulhu. I like the run and gun action adventure part of it, but it's still pretty bad and scary. So,
yeah, I've also done it where you run normal Cthulhu, but you give Pulp health.
Yes, you can do that too.
So that way, my investigators are more willing to do combat. But it's like you're still going to be in the hospital for a while, but you probably won't die in one shot.
Right. Yeah, I just ran Castles and Crusades on Sunday. I have another Castles and Crusades. This is my home games. We're going to be doing a horror mini campaign that I just finished writing and testing out. And so that
it looks kind of D&D-esque.
It is.
Yep.
So Castles and Crusades has only had one edition. It came out in 2004. They've had multiple printings, but only one edition, and it is the game that was chosen by Gary Gygax before his death in 2008 as basically his new home for his campaigns, and it's really the spiritual successor of AD&D Second Edition.
okay.
It's a much closer format to the way AD&D was run versus what WotC did with third and 3.5 and the edition that shall not be named, and then fifth edition, and God forbid the current edition. So yeah, it's really good. It's quick. It runs really fast, and it's really easy to teach people how to play. So I highly recommend it. It is these two games, Traveler and Castles and Crusades, are my chosen games to run because they are fairly easy to run. Traveler is a little bit more complicated, but yeah.
Yeah, anytime it's D&D or D&D-esque, I always, whenever I get a chance to play as a forever DM, I always like to be the big strong brute.
Yeah.
Big dumb brute.
Be a fighter, be a barbarian.
I always purposely go lowest intelligence, and I don't act like, I don't try to fuck over the party, but I also act like somebody who, not necessarily dumb, but just they run off base instincts. Like,
right. Yeah, so there's
the powerful spellcaster makes fun of me. I think, okay, well, you look weak and scrawny. I'm going to try to attack you.
So in the Braunhaven campaign setting that I wrote for Castles and Crusades, there is a race called the Stygian Half Giant, and they are half giants. It's very important to them. They will tell everybody that they meet for the first time that they have such and such giant blood on their mother or father's side. Of course, genealogy doesn't really exist, so for the most part, they're taking at their word for it. They are averaging about 6'8" to 7 feet tall. Well, maybe 7'4". Of course, barbarian, fighter are two of their most common classes. They can be anything, but the biggest thing is that they're not necessarily dumb, but they are very literal in everything that they speak or hear. So
kind of like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, kind of like Drax. Yeah, they take everything literally. They don't understand nuance, and everything that they say is to be taken. They speak plainly, and they come from Stygian, which is in the considered to be the frozen north, and so they are the most likely thing when somebody talks about the nation of Stygian. The half giant is the first thing that they think of. Because a lot of what comes out of Stygian is Viking-type raids, and so these long ships full of these 7.5-foot tall barbarians step out and start demanding tribute, and so that's usually what the thought process is with most people that meet them along the coastline of Xandamar. But yeah, that's definitely an option. So yeah, I mean, if I start up again, I will give you first dibs on joining up.
Yeah, I'll try it. Or think about Paranoia or Call of Cthulhu.
Will do.
Especially Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah,
way too long.
I don't know if I don't know. I wouldn't mind. So we'll see. All right, I will talk to you guys next week.
All right, see y'all next week.
Have a good one, guys.
All right.